All right, Nick, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. This is a team, a lot of exciting changes, mainly on the offensive side of the ball. We all know big quarterback change, a lot of exciting stuff over there, but the defense has started to get its own player that really came out of the woodworks and is starting to impress a lot of people. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. Nick, as I alluded to, the Falcons' defensive side of the ball, there's one guy who really came over to this team in free agency. Not a lot was thought about him, but now he is starting to impress a lot of people. Let's get into this article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is from over on Blogging Dirty. It says, not much was thought about James Smith Williams when he was signed back in early April. His 7 sacks across 4 seasons and 55 games is nothing to write home about, but the Atlanta Falcons might have found a diamond in the rough with the 2020 7th round pick. What immediately sticks out with JSW is his size. His tall, 260-pound plus frame is something that no one else at the position has, minus Lorenzo Carter. Raheem Morris sent the 6'4", 310-pound Michael Hope on 85% of the Rams' defensive snaps last year. He wants guys who can hold their own in the ground in the run game. In all reality, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Smith Williams has been starting. Morris has proven that he doesn't care where you were drafted or where you come from. He wants the best players out on the field. He showed that in LA last year. I think this is really interesting, Nick, because I think this just shows that James Smith Williams must be earning these reps. Morris wants the best guys out there, and with him getting out on the field, it's showing that this guy could potentially be the next big thing to come for the Falcons. Curious what your thoughts on this one are, but Falcons fans, in the comment section below, we're talking about preseason right around the corner. We're about to start to see our first games. I want to know, what players are you the most excited to see in preseason? I think there's a lot of great options out there, but let us know as preseason progresses, who are you the most excited to see hit the field and see what they're capable of? Let us know in the comment section below. And while you're down there, check out our recommended reading book in the description below the video. It is none other than Playmakers by Mike Florio. Love them or hate them. I know a lot of you might hate them, but I think this book is something to love. It is a very good book. It has some good insights on the inner workings of the NFL. So if you can put your bias aside, check this book out. There's a lot of great information in it. So check out the description below the video. Use our Amazon affiliate link. It really costs you nothing, but it does a lot to help out our channel, and we really appreciate it. But nonetheless, Nick, what are your thoughts on James Smith Williams?
So I think when his emergence as a starter and a surprising starter at that, right? Everyone pretty much assumed that Arnold Ebiketie, right? He's looking like a guy who's going to be a breakout guy, is slowly getting better and better. A lot of people thought he was going to be slated as pretty much the guaranteed starter at outside linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons, that position. Obviously hasn't been the case so far with Smith Williams taking the starting reps. There's a couple things to focus on here. One, like you said, Smith Williams is coming in and earning it. And I think that's what Raheem Morris is really trying to instill in this defense. It's like, listen, I don't care if you were supposed to be a breakout star. I don't care if you're a former first-round pick, underdrafted free agent, a guy who's been kind of a role player like Smith Williams has been on defense this far in his career. Whoever is executing my defensive strategy the best will play the most, right? And I think that's exactly the message Morris is getting across. And look, Smith Williams has been a great camp, right? He's been mentally solid, understanding his assignments. He's got incredible size and length. He's been a leader at times. He's been kind of one of those under the radar guys that people aren't focusing on. Obviously, the quarterback position for Atlanta is garnering all the attention in the world with Michael Penix Jr. and Kirk Cousins, but Smith Williams and guys on defense like him, they're doing a really solid job as well. And when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, I think one of the things Raheem Morris is clearly trying to do with this team is to bring back some length, bring back some size. Because when he looks across the entire NFC landscape and you look at all the contenders in the NFC, you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they play a little smaller a lot, right? You look at the Detroit Lions, they like to play a little smaller. You look at the 49ers, right? They're a little bit of a smaller team. They're transitioning to that on offense, right? You look at even the Los Angeles Rams, right? They play obviously same kind of offensive structure. They like to play smaller too, talking about those personnel packages with just one tight end, one running back, 3 wide receivers, right? All the best teams in the NFC are really focused on those smaller personnel packages, get more speed on the field. And if one way you can counteract that is with a lot of length and size and just turn that strength, that speed, that personnel packages into a weakness, right? You can still use both bully ball in size and strength to cudgel these small teams into submission. And that's clearly what Raheem Morris is doing here with Smith Williams. And I think it could work, right? Smith Williams, I watched him a lot when he was with the Washington Commanders. I thought he was a physical force in those limited reps. Is he a dominating figure? Not necessarily, but he can definitely change the math. He can make some plays. He can play in space. There's a very versatile, tough guy. Again, kind of old school physical outside linebacker presence. And while everyone is going small, if you zig when they're zagging and you go big, that can give you a big advantage, no pun intended, especially in a lot of those matchups. Smith Williams, I think, is surprising a lot of people in camp, but don't sleep on him. I think he'll give this Falcons team, along with the overall strategy of going a little bit longer and bigger in the front seven here, a key advantage by being sort of the opposite of a lot of their competition. And I think it's a smart move by Raheem Morris on top of that. So again, Smith Williams, definitely a name to keep an eye on here on this Falcons defense.
Yeah, Nick, and I think one other aspect the article brings up that is very interesting is that if Smith Williams does take over that starting spot, like it looks so far, that is where things are going. It really gives guys like Braylon Trice and Arnold Ebiketie a chance to take a step back and focus on what they were coming out of college, and that was pass rush specialists. These are guys that come in and really attack the passer really well. So I think, that could be a very interesting option as well. We hear about guys, coming in on great pass rush downs at being really capable rushers of the quarterback. I think having Trice and Ebiketie being able to focus on those things early on really may help take their game up to the next level. Because, Ebiketie, especially young guy coming out and just looking like, there's a lot to take in this game. If you can focus on one thing, get that down packed, and then work on everything else, I think that'll be really key for this new Falcons defense. But I think that's another aspect that Smith Williams bring in to this Falcons defense. His veteran presence, his ability to pick up a lot of things because he's been around for a while. He is going to allow this team to transform, and I think part of that is due to Raheem Morris really noticing people's talents and putting people, whoever it is, into the best positions possible for this defense.